Bitcoin has taken a break from its pump, but Dogecoin has only just begun, 114.4% in the past 7 days. But this is not the only coin which has pumped. About a solid 50% of the top 100 cryptocurrencies have seen at least double-digit gains. So what does this mean for the crypto market moving forward? Will we see another move up for Bitcoin? But even more interesting than that, of course, is Ethereum. Bitcoin has only seen a 16% rise since its previous major low, whereas Ethereum has seen almost a 40% rise, which mirrors many other altcoins as well. So right now, today, there are many interesting altcoins to look at, including SUSHI, UNI, Dogecoin, CHZ, Chiliz, ANC, ADA. So we're going to have a look at those. I'm going to tell you which ones I think are the most promising, as well as if you wait until the end of the video, I will tell you which ones I have personally entered in as trades. So for any of you who are into trading, this will be a video you won't want to miss. Welcome to the channel. My name is Frank and this is Altcoin Buzz. We are a crypto investment research company and we provide you with technical as well as fundamental analysis, but we are not financial advisors. So please be aware that when you trade, there are risks involved and there is the potential of losing a lot of money. Okay, so getting started with Bitcoin, as I mentioned in a past video, we have these two diagonal lines which acted as resistance. We broke out of both of them. We had this box range within which we were trading for almost a month and a half, which we finally broke out of. It seems that we have maintained this breakout. We are still holding the price above this box, and now we have started a new formation, which is this parallel channel. One risk, of course, is that we come down to test the bottom of this channel, and even if we do, the markets will still be bullish. The daily uptrend will still be intact. So it's something to note that yes, we have seen a decent move up, but we could see a move down all the way potentially to $19,400 or so and still be bullish. The Bollinger Bands contracted significantly over the past several months. We've seen historically low volatility for Bitcoin, and now we have a clean breakout of the upper Bollinger Band. This is a very good sign, a very clear shift in bullish momentum. So it's more likely than not that we do see another move up at some point. Okay, so now let's have a look at some altcoins which I find interesting, also just to give you some perspective on market structure and what it means. So for example, ADA right here, we had this critical support level at the $0.4 level pretty much, and we broke through it, very bearish. Now, of course, we've come back. We've broken above this level. So a lot of people who are shorting here have shorts which are stuck here. So it's quite possible we see a short squeeze. Not only that, but we have this descending wedge, which is typically a bullish pattern, and it could indicate a reversal of the downtrend here. So it's interesting to see that we have broken out of that and that we are above the previous support. Although this is not a high probability trade, although ADA is actually underperforming compared to many other altcoins, it does provide an interesting risk to reward setup if you have been looking to get into ADA, because we can have a very tight stop loss just below the previous low, because that would mean that we break not only this important previous resistance, turn support, but also the previous low, and then you could potentially have a risk to reward which would be pretty phenomenal. Let's say we just get to the previous major pivot high. That's already a 5-to-1 risk to reward. So some food for thought for that trade setup right there. As I mentioned, I will tell you in the end of the video which trades I am currently in. At least I'll give you a brief summary of those trades. But before we get on to that, next coin up on the list is ANC. Now ANC does not look interesting to the average trader. This looks like a chart which should not be traded because it does not have any direction. However, this is an excellent chart to trade, and I'm going to tell you why at the end of the video, so stick around for that, all right? Next coin up is Chiliz CHZ. Chiliz saw a phenomenal move up from its previous low. Look at this, 250%. That is incredible. Compare that to Bitcoin's measly 16%, and Ethereum, which actually did pretty well, only did 40%, not even close to Chiliz 250%, and we've seen a very significant retracement from there. So Chiliz is definitely one to watch out for. We had, again, similar to ADA, we had this important support, this more or less double bottom at the $0.1774 level. We broke through it, but then came right back up. Again, this means a lot of people were shorting, and then when the price started pumping, their shorts started getting liquidated, and this is what's called a short squeeze, and that's why we had a decent move up here. Now we're seeing volume above the average, so it seems like the bulls are alive and well. That being said, the daily has not retraced all that much, and this previous daily candle is somewhat bearish. More indecisive than bearish, I would say, but certainly I would not be looking for an entry at this precise point. However, this would be the entry I would be looking for. The general area would be over here at the high VRVP zone that is represented by these yellow and blue bars here, only available on the pro subscription of TradingView for those of you who are curious. Then, of course, we have Dogecoin, the one and only Dogecoin. It's just incredible to see how Dogecoin pumped. It's clearly the best performing altcoin of the market, which has any significant volume within the top 100. We saw 160% move up within a period of just several days. This is not unusual for Dogecoin. If we just go to one of these previous absolutely mind-numbing pumps, look at this. 815%. It doesn't make any sense. But listen, guys, it's important not to get taken away by these pumps, because if you zoom out to the weekly time frame, what do we see here? We see a clear downtrend, all right? We are seeing lower highs. We are seeing lower lows, all right? So yes, it is true that Dogecoin has seen a pump which surpassed its previous high, but that only breaks the downtrend. That doesn't create a new uptrend. For a new uptrend, we need not only a move up, but then we need a move down, and then we need yet another move up. And this is the definition of an uptrend. And until we see that on the weekly time frame, we are still, I regret to say, in a bear market. And this is exactly the same for all altcoins as well as Bitcoin. So don't be fooled by these short moves. Don't fall into FOMO. Have proper risk management. And that being said, if you are really eager to get into Dogecoin, into a long here, which I am personally not, I'm going to tell you right now, I am not, because I think that it's a little bit overextended, number one. Number two, we have this clear resistance directly up above us in terms of market structure. And not only that, but you can see this high VRVP zone is going to act, has already acted as resistance, and could very well act as resistance for the next move up. So I wouldn't recommend FOMOing into this. However, it will be interesting to see what happens after these two inside bars have formed. Will we break bullish out of this previous bar? If we do, there's a very good chance that we go on to test the $0.1747 level. But just don't forget that although we've broken this weekly downtrend, we are still certainly in a monthly downtrend. Again, that's why it's so important to zoom out, and any big investors, big traders will be looking at this chart. They'll be saying, oh, that's interesting. We've had a big pump, but we're in a massive bear market on the monthly time frame. So when can I get in short? So as I said, people will be looking to get in short. People will be taking profit. I would not fall for the FOMO right now for Dogecoin. Now is not the time to buy, in my personal opinion. Next on the list is UNI USDT. Has had an impressive move up as well. Remember, we had Ethereum at 40%, Chiliz at 250, Bitcoin at 16, and UNI has made a very solid 195% move up from its previous low. So very decent. Also, what's interesting on UNI, if I just go to the weekly time frame here, you see we have this massive descending wedge here, which we have now broken out of, which is looking good. Now zooming in onto the lower time frame here, we are seeing that we broke out of this previous resistance, which was this more or less the $7.05 level. Unfortunately, we failed to break out of it. We had a fake breakout. But now look at all these candles that we saw over here. look at all these lower wicks, just the price coming down, but the bulls pushing it right back up, the bulls pushing it right back up multiple times. So this tells me that this resistance will be tested again. It actually already has been tested once. We failed again, but the more times we test it, the more likely that we actually break out of it. So I'm really, really liking UNI. Of course, UNI's fundamentals are very solid as well. If you were to enter a long position right now, the stop would be most likely below this previous low, although it's worthy to note that we have this high VRVP zone, in other words, a high volume trading zone directly below that. It's not impossible for the price to move down to there, find support, and then move up. So again, just remember that Bitcoin does have room to go down, and therefore altcoins may also see a bigger move down from here. Finally, I'll tell you about my top 3 picks for November. Number 1 is Ethereum, because it's just a very solid cryptocurrency. If the market goes up, you can be sure that Ethereum will go up, whereas a lot of these other altcoins, it's less certain that they will be going up. And of course, Ethereum has been performing very, very well. Now, we saw one bull flag for Ethereum. We broke out of it with volume. Have a look at this green bars here, these couple of green bars. This is what we're looking for right now. In this bull flag, we had one fake out. We came back down. We have now tried to test it again. So really what we're looking for here is green bars above the average volume, which also cross some important resistance. But overall, Ethereum is looking very healthy. We are above the high volume zone as marked by these yellow and blue bars on the right side. I think Ethereum is a great pick, and I am personally long Ethereum. So if you were to enter at this current price level, you would have a pretty decent risk to reward, because you would probably want to stop out 1 ATR below the previous low. ATR is this indicator down here. You can find these indicators by clicking on the top left here, indicators, and just typing in ATR. But the ATR, I don't want to bore you with the details, but it's a great tool for creating stop losses. Basically what you do is you see what the value is. The value is 17.87. Put 1 ATR below the previous low. 17.87 will take us down to 1,527. My intuition was correct. That's a good stop loss. And then of course you could take some initial profit at a 1-to-1 at the previous high. That's a conservative thing to do. But of course, if we zoom out here, we can see that Ethereum still has a lot of room to grow. We had this descending parallel channel from which we broke out of, but there's no major resistance up ahead. Yes, we do have this high volume zone, which we're currently in the middle of. So admittedly, we might see a lot of volatility before we break out of it. But the next major resistance is up at 1,790. So taking it back to the 1 hour with our long setup, 1,790, that would give us a 3.5 risk to reward, 3.5 to 1, pretty decent if you ask me. The second coin, which I think is a solid buy, is SUSHI. SUSHI, just like UNI, also had a pretty impressive move up from its previous low. We saw a 91% move up. And now one of the major reasons why I picked SUSHI is because we have a very classic previous resistance now potentially turning into support. On the lower time frame, we are seeing some bullish divergence on the 15-minute here, higher highs on the MFI, lower lows on the price. I have personally entered a long right here myself. So I think SUSHI is a pretty solid pick, given that the risk to reward is potentially so good. If we zoom out to the bigger time frame here, we can see that the previous resistance is at the $1.891 level. That's a pretty solid return on investment of risk to reward right there. But of course, the sky's the limit if we break out of that. So really, SUSHI is a pretty solid pick if you ask me. And again, if we do a risk to reward for that, that would give us a 4.4 to 1 risk to reward. So SUSHI is one of my top picks. My third pick would be Matic. Matic saw also a very impressive 230% move up. We had this long descending parallel channel, which was the pullback, and now we have had a clear breakout of this parallel channel with decent volume, and we have come down. So again, it's offering a potentially very solid risk to reward. I have personally entered along here. My stop is below the previous low. It's about 1 ATR below the previous low. And Matic, I like Matic because it outperformed the crypto market. This whole pump came before a lot of the altcoins were pumping, while a lot of the other altcoins were dumping actually. So Matic performed very, very decently. It's been in a long consolidation period. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a very solid pump from Matic, and we could really reach massive highs here, at least a 3-to-1, but honestly I'm targeting more like a 4.3-to-1 with a target level of $1.6. Okay, finally, I'm going to show you some of my long positions. These are actually all long grids. So what this means is that they can potentially fall in price and I will still be in profit as long as the grid eventually goes up again. Grid trading is a passion of mine. I love grid trading, and I'm going to show you one reason why. One of the reasons I love grid trading is perfectly explained by this trade which I took. Have a look at this, ANC. My entry price was 0.0843. The current price is 0.0838. Now, this is a long trade. It's a long 3x. It's a 3x leveraged long. If you understand anything about trading, you would know that this would technically mean a loss. However, we are seeing a $5.1 profit. Why? Because the price moved up and then it moved down and it moved up and then it moved down, and I was printing money while that was happening. So although the price is below my entry, I'm still in profit. And that is why, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, ANC is an excellent opportunity for a grid. You can see we have tons and tons of volatility, and I have actually been in an ANC grid for 27 days. Have a look at this. 138.58% profit. My investment was $60. My total profit is $83.14. This grid is still working. It's been my most profitable grid, and in general, grids are really easy to set up. I highly recommend them. But of course, remember, I am not a financial advisor. But yeah, they have been working out pretty well for me, as you can see from all my profit here on Binance. On KuCoin, most of these grids are more recently created after we had a pullback. Some of them are in loss, but actually I'm overall in profit over here, which is pretty nice to know. And with that being said, guys, it's the end of the video. Let me know what you enjoyed most about this video. Do you like seeing the range of different altcoins? Do you like seeing the top 3? Do you like seeing the trades which I'm in? Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button. If you enjoyed this content, if you enjoy fundamental analysis, technical analysis, everything to do with crypto, cryptocurrencies, all that good stuff, feel free to subscribe to our channel as well. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.